Part 22. Exploring the World, starting from the discovery of the White Bone Dragon Pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 211. When Yeshi actually discovered the entrance to this small hole that connected to the abyss of the terrain, his heart skipped a beat, and he actually had the idea of going down and taking a look. Looking at the wailing barrage, Yeshi also began to think about when he started to be so reckless. No, I can't say he is reckless, but he has great enthusiasm for exploring the unknown world. Look at it this way, I was born to be an explorer. System. Yeshi praised his enterprising spirit, and after confirming that there was indeed no problem with him, he finally understood that the problem actually lay with other people. And underground. The fallen heart flame continuously overflowed, burning and purifying the small hole connected to the abyss. This is of course not for any other reason, but because Yeshi opened a door in a large volcano in his own world. This door is facing this small hole, and there are no natural enemies in the volcano. The fallen heart flame, which spreads almost endlessly, blocks this small hole one after another. So that Yeshi could just let it go. He was still thinking about how he should get down when he heard a whining sound behind him. When he looked back, he saw that it was the cat under the divine chain of order. With tears in his eyes, he waved his paws towards Yeshi, wanting to call Yeshi to come and save him. It can be said that it makes those who hear it sad and those who see it cry. Yeshi took a glance and saw the token rising up with the light. Pardon order, solution. The divine chain of order obeyed Yeshi's instructions and pushed away. And he pulled Yaozu over. You squat here and watch. Don't let anything happen to this place again. I'll go down and take a look. Yaozu was smiling so hard that wrinkles appeared on his face, but when he heard these words, it was like a bolt from the blue. What? You want to go down? Now he doesn't even have the honorific title anymore. I laughed to death. I didn't expect the ancient beast to show the same expression as me. Let me just say, even people would be surprised. Living king of hell, the door to hell is always open, welcome to come in at any time. Fanwuju, good guy, I really want to ask Po Meng for a bottle of 1982 Mengpo soup. 1,000 miles away, brother, Yang, can you give me one? Fanwuju will be delivered to your home tonight. It was just an interlude at first. After all, who would take such bragging on the internet seriously? But at midnight, Qinli Buliaxing heard several knocks on his bedroom door, which frightened him. I had to huddle up under the quilt, cover my head and sleep until dawn. When I opened the bedroom door, I found a bottle of 1982 Mengpo soup at the door. Why do you know this was made in 1982 and is Mengpo soup? Of course it's because these words are written on the bottle. That day, residents in several nearby buildings heard a heart-rending cry of pain. It was as miserable as marrying one wife and running away from another, and then marrying another wife and running away with Mr. Wang next door. One can't help but wonder how unlucky this man is to be able to make such a sound. Of course, this is something to talk about later. Now these people were staring at Yeshi, wanting to see how he got down. Ah! Heartbreaking, you haven't said yet whether this pollution will affect us. I don't want someone crawling out of my belly. Ah! The prairie dog screams JPG. Kick the door frame. I don't understand this. If I didn't warn you, don't worry about it. Look at the time when Yeshen didn't warn you before the danger. He was just stupid after all. Why are there still such stupid people at this time? The simplest cure for bad breath, the most extreme comfort. The was pressed next to the hole by Yeshi. Although its feet were still shaking, it didn't dare to move. It wanted to call out to Yeshi, but it didn't dare to open its mouth at all. It could only be weak and helpless. Poorly squatting aside, waiting for Yeshi. Yeshi was about to go down the hole when he suddenly seemed to remember. He waved to the camera. Now, I'm going to go down and see what this thing is that is causing the changes in the entire solar system. I said this from the very beginning when I explored the White Bone Dragon Pond. This world is full of strange and mysterious rumors, unknown creatures, and worlds. That's why I decided to explore Longton in the first place. System. Yashi didn't take a glance at this intrusive system, but continued. Although it's been a long time now. When he said this, he pondered for a moment. Although it hasn't been a long time, everyone should have a feeling that the world has taken on a new look and the world has changed. Compared with wasting time in the past, one day now seems like a year. I am God. Wrong, 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 the world is not a new look, but a whole new look. I've been looking at you with admiration for 3 days, right? My eyes have been scratched off thousands of times. Grass. Yeshen, you don't have to be so tactful really, it's either a day or a year. I feel like the past few hundred years have not been as exciting as this day. The worldview has been transformed, x, the worldview has been destroyed, square root, the world has taken on a new look, x, the world has changed into a different world, square root. Living king of hell, me too. Yashi couldn't help but shake his head and laugh when he saw how funny these netizens were. In short, I am going to a strange place as usual and start a new adventure again. We can never imagine what is waiting for us ahead. And this is the fun of exploration. Everyone follow me. Yashi turned around, waved his hand with his back to the screen, and his tone rose slightly. Then, as if jumping on the spot, Yashi fell from a black hole in an instant. Hoo-hoo. Zhou, so handsome, if I were a girl, I would definitely marry Lao Yet. Smekta, yours, Thailand, some. Don't restrict gender so strictly, we want men on top of men. Yeshen, take my sword, I'll chop you to death with one sword. Dawa was still shaking there. Just seeing Yeshi disappear in an instant, he couldn't help but lie on the ground, staring at the small hole. Is this, Sumuru mustard seed? Especially when he went to an unknown place, Yeshi was not even sure whether it was still in the universe he was in. Maybe because of this reason. So the live broadcast signal was slightly stuck. This was originally Yeshi's first thought. But soon, this idea was denied. Because Yeshi saw something, or rather, it was not a thing. It was this thing that made the rock-solid live broadcast room signal stuck. Ding, congratulations to the host for exploring the solar star map. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the White Bone Dragon Pond. Author, Wo Yu Pian Hai. Chapter 212. Ding, congratulations to the host for improving the exploration of the Sun Star map by 21%. The overall progress is now 100%. Ding, congratulations to the host on the successful completion of this exploration. The Sun Star map has been completely explored. Please check the corresponding map on your own. Ding, congratulations to the host for unlocking the 5th puzzle piece of the Sun Star. The reward is, 5 Elements Lightning Technique X1, Heavenly Beacon X1, Rotting Boat X1, 8-Edged Purple Gold Demonic Pestle X1, and Sun Star Map Fragments X3. Sun Star Illustrated Book, The Pale King, Thin White Mummy, Abyss World. The Pale King, this is a thin, white mummy. It is extremely huge, almost as big as an ordinary world. However, at this moment, he has been nailed to a bronze pillar. What on earth is he? In this world almost no one knows that he was the former ruler of this layer of earthly abyss, and was the one suppressed by the Sun Star. Maybe. In short, he is still being resurrected. The thin white mummy, almost all the pollution you have seen comes from the Pale King, and the thin white mummy is a special deformed monster derived from it. If it were not in the solar system, this would be a natural disaster. Abyss World, all the creatures that came out of the Abyss World have become dependents of the one at the bottom of the abyss who is under the throne. What you see now is one of the areas that has been cleared by the heaven. Of course, he is alive. 5 elements thunder technique, immortal technique, temporarily unavailable. Heavenly Court beacon. In the past, Heavenly Court invested a huge amount of effort here, so that a place that was originally very illustrious was directly reduced to a mortal place, and here, with the same backup arranged by Heavenly Court, activated, and you can go to Heavenly Court, please help, but no one knows how much heaven still exists. The rotten boat. It has been said in many legends that the physical body is the boat, and the soul is the person crossing the sea on the boat. This rotten boat has such an effect, and may lead to the other side. But no one has ever succeeded. Yeshi's expedition to the Sun Star has been successfully completed, and he has even solved many confusing problems. But there was no joy in my heart, precisely because of what I saw in front of me. He was actually not standing on the abyss at this time. Yeshi lowered his head and looked at the unreachable abyss. The black mist was like a sticky snake, peeping at all life below. He raised his head again and looked at the head in the distance, which was close, but not that close. Yes. He was standing on the fingernails of the Pale King. Standing here, looking up, he saw the flame of fallen heart that seemed to never go out. The signal in the live broadcast room has been connected back, and the live broadcast has been restored as if it were immersive. But everyone still didn't see anything because Yeshi blocked the camera in the live broadcast room in advance. I only heard a young man's voice coming from the empty world. Don't watch it too easily for now. Although the world here is not very polluted. Yeshi looked at the bronze pillar that nailed the Pale King. It was it that locked God's authority and even the ability to radiate God's power. Although standing here, the pollution of the abyss will not have any impact on other people. But Yeshi still sighed. Although the pollution is gone, the power of God's authority is still there. Jiwei Starfield's I Taoist, I don't know why it is so mysterious now that you have come down. Are you still worried that we won't be able to bear it? Yunran is me, can you please don't add the word people upstairs, I know I can't bear it. The power of God's authority, this word is too strong, I quit, I don't read anymore. Peng Wei, this world gives me a very strange feeling, I have never seen such a thing, what is this? Jin Mobei, I thought of something in Yeshen's live broadcast room, which gave me a very similar feeling to this place. I haven't waited for anyone to ask. The word snake god began to float densely throughout the barrage. Yeshi also put his hands down and no longer blocked the lens. The insignificance of individual life in the face of the great eternal existence is most vividly reflected at this moment. Although Yeshi had been vaccinated in advance, many people were mentally prepared again and again. But when a living God crucified on a bronze pillar appeared before them, they still held their breath at this moment, and even couldn't breathe at all. Just like ants seeing the dragon soaring in the sky, they can't help but feel fear. This is an endless empty world. Looking back, I saw deathly silence, but looking forward, I saw densely packed thin white mummies crawling out from in front of the Pale King. Looking from top to bottom, these dependents are like white ants, filled with a heart-stopping number. And the creature, or God, who was nailed to the bronze pillar. The whole body is so huge that no one would be able to see the whole picture of this God clearly if the camera had not been zoomed in infinitely. Although he has his eyes closed, his bare feet are connected to the abyss. The authority of God was beating thumpingly. This was an activity that only Yeshi could feel. I can't breathe, I feel a strong fear, I'm really scared. What is this? Why does it give me such a strange feeling? He feels the same as the snake god, but he is more terrifying than the snake god. I am God, the authority of God. Golden hair shell, because the snake god is dead, and has been dead for many thousands of years, but the God in front of him is alive. Although he is nailed to the bronze pillar, he has never died and even wants to break free from the restraints on his body. Yeshi held another bronze sword in his hand. After the sword came here, for some reason, it seemed to be unsealed, and it seemed to be stimulated by something. It was shaking violently at this time. Boom boom. As Yeshi let go of the bronze sword, it fell to the ground with a boom. Crack crack crack. The entire bronze sword suddenly began to change, began to rise, and began to expand outward. After a while, a bronze sword about the same size as the bronze pillar stood on the side of the world. Oh my God, what happened? Yeshi was also very surprised by the changes in the Xuanhuan sword sent from Kunlun in his rumor. From now on, this sword is actually matched with this place. But isn't this sword a replica of the ancient divine sword Xuanhuan? How is it related to this place? When this question popped up in Yeshi's mind, he asked the system. Ding, the authentic ancient divine sword Xuanhuan is in the heavenly court. Yeshi understood it all at once. And the netizens who were already suffering from the stimulation, after the bronze divine sword became bigger, the whole person was floating as if stepping on the clouds, and it was not right. I'm not right, I'm not right, I'm not right. So, the thing suppressed under the sun is actually such a thing. Yang Xuanhuan, what is he, what is he, what is he? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan Hai. Chapter 213. Logically speaking, many people watching the live broadcast have seen the giant dragging the solar boat that appeared on Mars, and even the bronze pillar that covered part of Mars. It was the first time that the picture that appeared at that time shocked people's soul. The effect of the first time was far better than the countless times after that. Not to mention that the scene here now is actually somewhat similar to that of the past. If we follow ordinary principles, the pictures here would never be so surprising if they were not contaminated. Because they have seen a similar one before. But now, everyone's reaction is unanimous surprise and shock. They were not shocked by this abyss world or the huge pale corpse, but by the sincere fear of low-level life individuals facing the god who was almost at the top of life. As a result, no matter how calm the individual was, they all jumped up at this time and stared blankly at everything in front of them. The bronze sword stood beside the bronze pillar that nailed the Pale King. Yeshi could clearly feel that the activity or rules of the entire abyss world had been suppressed by a large amount. Even this small hole is slowly recovering. When many people couldn't control their expressions and moods, Yeshi opened his mouth and said a sentence that had nothing to do with their problems. His voice was like a gust of wind that instantly extinguished these people's fervent and almost igniting emotions. When they calmed down and thought about it carefully, they discovered that after seeing the nailed body, they had a feeling of fanatical devotion, which made people's scalps shiver when they thought about it. Is this what Yeshen has the power of the authority of the two gods? I really felt like I was witnessing the greatest being in the world. Yeshi withdrew his gaze and inserted a sword into the healing hole. After seeing this barrage, I nodded. Yes, yes. But fortunately, this kind of authority has been weakened indefinitely, so the impact on you is not very deep. Coupled with the return of the bronze sword just now, the suppression becomes even more severe. So don't worry too much, it won't affect you anymore. Return to your position? Damn it, isn't this something that old Ye brought from Blue Star? Isn't it related to this place? I understand, no wonder Lao Ye has to come down without hesitation. It turns out to be for this reason. This wave, no matter how atmospheric Yeshen is. Indeed, Yeshen has read a lot of books, and the problems in this abyss may have been recorded in those books, so, this is called strategizing and winning from thousands of miles away, God. Then God Ye should know what the God in front of him is. I really only fully realized it now. It turns out that the gap between mortals and gods is so big. Snake God, after all, I paid by mistake. Wait a minute, is this what we are worried about? It seems so, then it's no problem. Yeshi looked at these barrages. If he hadn't known that these people didn't know his true identity, he would have suspected that they were deliberately mocking him. Listen, listen, what is this? He was also strategizing, discerning opportunities, and boasting all kinds of things. The question is he? Of course not. So, Yeshi looked at the messy barrage, cleared his throat, and then said, I have to refute the rumors for myself. Although I knew that this Xian longsword is an imitation of the ancient divine sword Zanlu sword, I didn't know their relationship with this place, so it was not a foresight. Also, the reason why I came down to explore is just a pure hobby. I am enjoying the fun of exploration. Although I checked some information about the sun star beforehand, I really don't know anything about the things below, so it's not a big deal. I knew it a long time ago, so I chose to come down and explore. When Yeshi spoke, his eyes were very serious and his tone was very powerful. Almost everyone was convinced by him. As a result, his next sentence was, okay, let's take a look at this new discovery in front of us now. To be honest, on the 130th floor of the earthly abyss, I really didn't expect to encounter the thing in front of me. I am afraid that this thing that can be called a god is rarely known even in other worlds where the orthodoxy and spiritual energy have never been cut off. I don't know much about him. I only know that he failed in his fight with heaven and was crucified in this place. But his authority or person has a lot to do with this level of abyss. I'm afraid he can't be killed. Even if he is killed, he will be resurrected in this level of abyss, because heaven will choose to crucify him in this place forever. Bar. Yeshi sighed as he spoke. From the large formation outside, the layout of the prison, and even the shackles in front of us, we can already get a glimpse of the majesty of heaven. Wait a minute, who said that he didn't know anything before? It's Yeshi who said he didn't know anything about it. What does it have to do with Yeshen and me? Be careful, I will sue you for defamation. Yeshi, I don't know anything about the abyss world. Yeshen, hello everyone, this is the 130th floor of the earthly abyss. True, heaven is everywhere, but unfortunately all that is left to us now are ruins. Maybe Yeshen can learn more by exploring other worlds. Heaven, this is something I have fantasized about since I was a child, nothing thinking that we are moving towards reality step by step. That's not the case. Remember the sentence someone said during Yeshen's first live broadcast, from reality to mythology. I think it is very appropriate to use it in all subsequent live broadcasts. The Zanlu sword is the legendary divine sword, by the way. This bronze sword that has returned to its place seems to be what Yeshen got from the Queen of Jingzhou, ha 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 ha. Yeshi didn't care about the contradictory points in the barrage. Yes, the contradiction is these netizens who watch the live broadcast. What does it have to do with him? That's probably all. Let's go down and look somewhere else. Maybe we will find other surprises. Yeshi's sword was used to block the small hole, and the other sword was returned to its place. Now he can't fly with the sword like a fairy. He can only float in the air like a ghost. This body nailed to the bronze pillar is very big, really big. Especially when everyone follows Yeshi's movements and looks up from the ground together, they only feel that they are looking up at the whole world. After falling to the ground, the crowd discovered that the thin white mummies they had seen before were now suppressed by an inexplicable force, and all their activities had disappeared. They just lay on the ground. The densely packed corpses were like ants, and their nests were destroyed, which made people feel chilled. It is indeed so. Yeshi made a sound that was just as it should be. The arrangement of the heavenly court is really perfect. If the bronze sword had not disappeared, the sun star would not have become like this anyway. All the questions that troubled us before have been answered. But now, a new, but very important question has come. Who took the bronze sword away? When Yeshi's voice sounded, many people also had the same doubts. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yu Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 214. Yashi touched his chin. In fact, there was some speculation that the heavenly master mentioned by the system a long time ago took the things away. But obviously, this heavenly master does not have such ability. Is it the civilization that built the technological crystal wall outside? Yashi murmured to himself, but still couldn't figure it out. Finally, after thinking about it, it was actually very simple to know this matter. All he had to do was ask the Urha when he went back. As permanent residents of the prison, it is impossible for them not to know who has entered. Yashi walked in the abyss for a while, but when he looked up, he saw that huge body and his retinue. In fact, before the bronze sword returned to its position, Yashi could detect the flickering of the god's spirituality, and even noticed his own existence. In one moment, Yashi noticed that a divine consciousness wanted to communicate with him, and then, there was no more, because the other party's consciousness couldn't get through. It was also at that time Yashi discovered how the system isolated the pollution factors in the live broadcast. That is, ding, I inserted a world into the live broadcast with you as the host, which is your dream world as the host. Pollution cannot touch the dream world. Please don't worry, host. After receiving this reply, Yashi really wanted to kill this system. How could I have forgotten that this system has always been very good at taking advantage of others, so much so that now it is taking a shortcut to upgrade the live broadcast room to block pollution. Because there was a huge world blocking Yashi's vicinity, and the divine consciousness could not reach him. Of course, whether it is huge or not is another matter. The most important thing is the power that Yashi holds in his hands. It is not an ordinary power. Instead, it includes the authority of the snake god and the authority of a god lost in the secret realm of the kettle. After completing it, it has almost grasped all the authority in the dream. Of course, the Pale King, who is 80% dead and 20% alive, cannot jump over it. Of course, Yashi didn't think of communicating with the other party. Tisk, it seems that the abyss world on this level has been completely cleaned up by the heaven. Except for the nailed corpse because of the disappearance of the bronze sword, there is nothing else left. Yashi took a brief walk around and found that this layer was really cleaner than a cockroach crawling through. He couldn't help but smile and said this. Behind him was the huge body nailed to the bronze pillar, and beside him stood a bronze sword of countless width and length. The two had their horns with each other, completely locking the abyss. Actually, come here, our expedition to the Sun Star has come to an end. When I was outside, I thought it was already terrible inside. Unexpectedly, although it was indeed like this inside, it was just because of a small hole. Yashi slowly flew upwards, and the voice slowly came out. But judging from the known situation, this place is not so much about suppressing the god in front of me. Rather, it's the exit of an abyss. Judging from the small hole, it actually illustrates this point. Yashi stood in front of the hole again, his tone slightly raised. In my guess, there may be an entrance connecting to the terrain abyss in this place, so the heaven sent people to completely clean up this abyss, and then nailed the Pale King to the bronze pillar. Then to be more secure, a corresponding prison was set up on top of it, and a layer of solar core was placed on top of the prison to create a sun modeled after the sun star. Yashi said it very clearly, and everyone also understood it clearly. Although they understood it, they still didn't stop them from complaining. Why stacking boxes? So in order to suppress this abyss, a layer of prison was built. For this layer of prison, a sun was built, and then for this sun, a solar system was built, and for a solar system, a galaxy was built. Stop, 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 I think the most we can reach is the solar system. It's almost there. If you continue to stack it up, you can see the universe. What a 1,000-layer player, 1,000-layer lover, whatever you say makes me hungry. Bidulizhija, this experience is really a feast for my eyes. Ah, with such insight, I must be able to make more progress in practice in the future. I have already felt that the bottleneck of my cultivation that has been stuck for decades is beginning to loosen. Yeshen's statement is indeed interesting. Although your blue star is very interesting, I am more interested in heaven. What kind of organization is heaven? Is it true that it does not exist in our star field? Yeshi took out his sword stuck in the passage, and then returned from the abyss to the prison. Just after the hole came out, everyone saw that the tiny hole was recovering very quickly until there was no trace of cracks. Yeshi waved his hand and completely closed the door he had opened here. Then he looked at Yaozu, who was squatting there and waiting for him wholeheartedly. From this point of view, it really looks like a Urha. Yeshi pondered for a moment and took out the warden's token from Sun Prison. Pardon order, solution. I have removed the imprint of the divine chain of order from your body. After that, you can walk freely in this prison, world, but remember to find the divine chain to provide energy on time. After saying that, he was ready to run away. After all, the exploration has been completed in this live broadcast. But I didn't expect that. With a plop, Dao lay down horizontally, and then hugged Yeshi's calf. Boss, you can't just leave me here. I can be your slave, warm the bed, bring water, and be your mount. I can do anything. Take me away. It seems that a strange thing has sneaked in. When I saw it, I suddenly remembered the big octopus. If Yeshen really took Dao away, the two would definitely fight. Dao's face was completely lost. Ha 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 ha, I'll show you a JPG of Urha's expressions. If you click on it, you'll find that these two expressions are exactly the same. Yeshi. I wanted to take you away, but since you said you wanted to warm the bed, forget it. You should stay here. Dao felt like a bolt from the blue. He reacted immediately and turned into a pure beast. Boss, I just made a slip of the tongue. I said I could stand on your feet and carry water for you as a mount. Come on, boss, please step on my back quickly. I'll carry you back. Dao lowered his eyebrows and leaned down directly, wanting Yeshi to step on him. Yeshi was really amused by Dao. But after thinking about it, he still stepped on it. Whoosh, whoosh. The tiger roared in the wind. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 215. The picture is displayed in the world of Shi Fang. A majestic and ferocious flame roars past. At this moment, it truly shows what the heroic appearance of the ancient ferocious beast is. What was stepping on his feet seemed to be fire, and it seemed to be wind. The thick hair was blown by, and the golden color was mixed with some red, as if there was a layer of crystal glow attached to it. The ground also began to shake, the boundless air was swept up, the clouds blew, and the sound of roaring beasts broke through the clouds. Yes, now I know that it is really not an Urha. I think you have forgotten that when he first appeared, he wanted to swallow Yeshen up in one gulp, but later he found out that he couldn't beat him, so, don't look at how good he is now. In fact, everyone understands it. Kicks the doorframe. If it were us facing it, I'm afraid the grass on the grave would be 3 meters high, and it's still taunting here. Not everyone has the same qualifications to be flattered by the ancient beasts like Yeshen. You only deserve to be the under its butt. Kinli Buletin Ling Xing, there are always people who, whether they are on your side or not, feel that the other person deserves a beating. I am talking about Brother Menzeo. He is really, how can he be so attractive in the world? Haters, this is the protagonist of the legend, he will be beaten wherever he goes. I wonder if Yeshen will take Urha away. If so, will there be any problems in this prison? What if there is a problem? It's easy to eat carrots and don't worry about it if the sky falls and Yeshen is there. I'm worried, but this live broadcast is really exciting. I will relive it dozens, oh no, hundreds of times. When I go back later, I always feel like there are a lot of details that can be dug into. Yaozu was very fast, riding like lightning, and soon brought Yeshi to the gate of Sun Prison. Seeing this slightly familiar font again, Yeshi still sighed in his heart, and became even more curious about heaven. Many people are placing their bets on how Ieyasu will plead with Yeshi to take him away. What I didn't expect was that when I arrived at the door, this Yingzhao didn't say a word, he just looked at Yeshi with tears in his eyes, which confused many people. What does it mean to retreat to advance? Sun Tzu's art of war is better than mine. I really admire you, you idiot. There is no such thing as retreat in order to advance in Sun Tzu's art of war, but he indulges in lust. Yeshi stood in front of the stone tablet, looked at the 4 words on it, and then turned around to say something, but he saw Yangzhe performing hard, and was a little speechless. You're still pretending to be pitiful, right? I won't take you away even if you act like this. Guard this place well. Yeshi paused. I will give you some permissions in this prison and leave something behind. If you find it, you can go outside and play. Yeshi casually opened an invisible door leading to his own world under the layer of 8 cold hell, but only Yingzhe was allowed to enter. He just put something here casually. As for whether Yangzhe can find it or not, it has nothing to do with him. After all, he wasn't interested in Dazeo, he still preferred a majestic mythical beast like Kylin. He was puzzled. From the time he first visited the Bone Dragon Pond to the back, the things he encountered became more and more bizarre. As a result, the pets he kept in his world looked weirder than the last one. To be honest, he didn't really want to take in a Taozi with a human face. If it were a pure white tiger, he would definitely be willing to take it away. So don't blame other people for this, just blame it for not growing well. Yeshi thought this in his heart, but he was very kind-hearted. Otherwise, at least there is still a chance. After doing this, Yeshi stood in front of the prison. He waved to the camera and walked out of this area that he had wanted to explore since Mars. Switching directly from the Sun prison in the ancient general environment to the current high-tech crystal wall. Some people feel like they can't turn their heads. Okay, this live broadcast is over. Goodbye everyone. Yeshi didn't even look at what was posted on the live broadcast barrage and cut off the signal directly. When preparing to leave, I still looked back at the ruins left by this unknown civilization. Many of the places he has explored so far have traces of different high-tech civilizations. But it is a pity that there is no complete relic of scientific and technological civilization. He felt a little sorry for this. However, these things were quickly forgotten by him. Because, he has not forgotten the reason why he came to the Sun Star to explore. He wants to plant the sun. In just a moment, Yeshi returned to his own world. Although the world is still as bright as before, this time, there is something a little different. Yeshi was currently squatting in the volcanic area of his world, trying to rub out the sun's hand. Before rubbing the sun with his hands, Yeshi thought it was very simple. But when it really started, only then did he realize that it was really difficult. There was a pile of biological composite ores in front of Yeshi, which was one of the top ores in the entire universe. Even in some other worlds, the name of this kind of ore was the origin stone. From this name, you can tell how buggy the stone is, but because of this, it is extremely difficult to smelt. It can even be impossible to smelt at all. Yeshi originally planned to enjoy the pleasure of rubbing the sun with his hands. As a result, after 3 days of kneading, not even a single shape came out. In a rage, he directly used his authority as the creator to smear the pile of biological composite ores. In other words, the creator's authority is really useful. Yeshi looked at the sun core in front of him with a heartfelt smile on his face. With my unremitting efforts, I finally got the sun out. Tongzi, send it to heaven. Because all the artifacts forged from biological composite minerals will produce life activity and generate a special creature almost without any accident. Therefore, Yeshi took another insurance under his authority. Rumble. Few people see it. A red sun gradually rose out of the sky as Yeshi's gaze gradually rose. Beyond the sky, in addition to the sun, there are also magnificent nebulae, as well as a floating road that can see the heaven. From now on, the sun will rise from the big chun tree and fall into the ruins when it sets. Yeshi looked at the sun in his world and said softly. Although this sentence is light, it is like the rules of heaven and earth, strictly regulating the rising and setting of the sun. From then on, in Yeshi's world, the water of the 8 wastelands and 9 fields, the currents of the sky, clouds, and the Milky Way are all pouring into it, and the sun also falls into Gigzu. Warm reminder, if you find that clicking the next page will force you to jump to other websites, please use the chapter error or contact us at the bottom to inform us. We will handle it as soon as possible. Thank you for your understanding. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan Pianhai. Chapter 216. Yeshi closed his eyes and opened them again. Feeling the darkness of heaven and earth, there is a sense of absurdity. It's probably because it's always daytime in my world, so when I feel the darkness, I feel a little uncomfortable. It's a pity that one moon is missing, it still looks a bit weird. Yeshi woke up in the early morning and boarded the floating road. Then I saw the larger Elang, staring blankly at the heaven revealed on the floating island, with an expression that remained thoughtful. The scales on the Elang's body are like shining white gems, full of unparalleled luster of power. No one who sees this Elang will doubt that it is not that kind of ancient divine dragon. What are you doing squatting here all the time? Are you from heaven? Yeshi also found a stone on the floating road and sat down. He wanted to see the first sunrise in his world, but he was bored, so he wanted to know about this free chi dragon. The big dragon looked back at Yeshi. Its horns were shining brightly and its tail was moving slightly. It was really graceful, like a swimming dragon. His dragon head fell next to Yeshi, dozens of times larger than his entire body. No, I just heard many people talking about heaven. I always thought it was a legend, but I didn't expect that I would see the heaven when I woke up again. Yeshi. He glanced at the chi dragon with unknown meaning. You are also a legend in the eyes of others. Elang shook his head. The human world is very dangerous. It has been beheaded many times, and the dragon under the dragon Lockwell was trapped there for life. It's you, the people you are now, who don't understand. Yeshi touched his chin. You are talking about Wei Zheng during the reign of Emperor Tang. When I first learned that this legend was true, I was a little confused. Not to mention the heavenly master I met later. But if there were real dragons and heavenly masters descending from the mountain in ancient times, it would not be incomprehensible for them to want to become immortals. I just don't know why by our time, it seems that such things have become extinct. The big dragon glanced at Yeshi. Its eyes were straight, but there was no malice, only gentleness. The world has changed, and we are getting weaker and weaker. In the end, I no longer have the strength to stay awake. But I don't know why, after the world fell down the dimension, it actually picked up again. What an amazing thing. Yeshi wanted to continue chatting with this dragon. But just in time, at this time, the sun slowly rose from the big chun tree. Vaguely, Yeshi seemed to hear the cry of a golden crow. The red sun rises, its path is bright. Yeshi stood up from the floating road and stared at the newly baked sundae. He could feel the vigorous vitality around him, and it was still spreading outwards. His growth rate exceeded Yeshi's imagination. You took a lot of tonic, right? A golden crow was hatched for me overnight. Almost done. Yeshi held his forehead and was really speechless. But I immediately realized that I had to carry the pot myself, because Gigzu Gigzu is not only the place where all the waters gather, but also the place where all the energy flows. This new sun has really taken a lot of tonic. Forget it, it's good to have an extra golden crow. Yeshi rubbed his eyebrows. After admiring the first sunrise of this world, I wanted to go down. Suddenly I thought of the big along beside me. Do you want to go out and have a look? The dragon's head looks back, full of brilliance. Yeshi's eyes were dazzled at this moment. After all, under the refraction of the sun, the white dragon turned into colorful white. Don't want. Hearing the answer, Yeshi shrugged his shoulders and didn't care. Anyway, if you want to ride a dragon, just take the little along out. After all, it hangs on the Kunlun sacred tree every day, and it has grown up a lot now. Falling on the earth again. Yeshi looked at this world that could be regarded as vast and vast. It is difficult for ordinary people to believe that this world exists both in the real world and in their own memories. And unless you open the door to the world in your memory, no one can enter this world again. After thinking about it, Yeshi felt that he was singing rap, so he stopped thinking about it. Instead, he found a place and threw out all the rewards he had received on the Sun Star. No use. No use. No use. Yeshi directly threw most of the things into the cabinet where he kept his collection. With only one magic umbrella prepared, when the world starts to rain, hold it up while walking in the rain. The artificial sun was thrown to the little along and hung on his body as a toy. By the way, there is another kun. Yeshi almost forgot about his reward. After taking care of all the rest, Yeshi looked at the kun. To be more precise, it was a big fish. To be honest, this was the first time he knew that kun was an oviparous animal. It just so happens that outside my continent is the sea. Just find a place and throw it away. If you can survive, you can survive. If you can't, forget it. Yeshi stood at the seaside, looking around, a vast expanse of land, with no end in sight, and the sea and the sky looked the same. As for clouds, there were no clouds in his world for the time being. However, the sea in Yeshi's world was not an ordinary sea, but a turbulent sea of energy. Not to mention the Kunlun sacred tree that constantly flowed the energy of the heavens and the worlds into Gigzu. And the Gigzu that swallowed and spit out sea water. It can be said that the energy content in a random scoop of water was astonishing. Yeshi didn't know whether this kun could survive in this lucky and cruel environment. It all depended on luck. He threw kun to the north of the sea, which can also be called the North Sea, as a comfort to this kun that was still in the fetal stage. Yeshi was originally fishing on the coast, although there were no fish in the sea. But at this time he couldn't calm down to fish, and looked up at the sky from time to time. Finally, he couldn't bear it anymore, so he stood up and prepared to go to a place. It's really hard to accept that there are no clouds after the sun. #shock. A large cloud layer above a certain place disappeared in an instant. #. Airplane passengers took real-life photos of the disappearance of clouds. #. Terrifying changes in the sky. Yeshi didn't know that there were suddenly several hot searches on the internet that were rising at a rapid speed. He just looked at the clouds above his own world, waved his sleeves, and hid his achievements and fame. The huge North Sea giant monster emerged from the sea from time to time, accompanied by the little stone man on his head, which looked particularly funny. Kaka. Yeshi took a photo of the other octopus emerging from the water, and then sent out the photo of the little dragon playing in the water, making waves, on the sea surface that he had secretly taken before. Hello everyone, the little octopus and the little dragon are here to let you guess, where will the next adventure map be? Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white-bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan Hai. Chapter 217. After Yeshi posted this post on Weibo, he stopped reading it. No matter what others guessed, it actually didn't matter because he didn't think about what the next map would look like. He looked at the sea below and the octopus that poked its head out. He drew an entire map in front of him and waved it out. The starry sky is completely dark, but the solar system is shining brightly. Among them, the blue stars, Mars, and the Sun are all surrounded by a faint halo. This is a model of each planet. Yashi pulled the planet model closer and clicked on the core of the Sun star. Then he zoomed in on the solar prison again and saw the Taoist beasts running around inside. If you zoom in again, you can still see the poor white fox in the sword formation. Yashi raised his eyebrows and saw that the fox had turned around but did not return to the fox. The one-way door he opened was right next to the fox. It seems that this can't be found. Forget it, there is no fate. After saying this, Yashi put the matter behind him. After all, he disliked the face of Yezu. So, what's the next place to go? Yashi knocked on the table next to him and fell into deep thought. Various speculations have already begun under that blog post, and some people have enlarged the picture and started making all kinds of nonsense. Tongzi, do you have any suggestions? Ding, your direction is the direction of this system, please make your own choice. Yashi. He looked up at the sun in the sky, and could vaguely see the golden crow that was about to take shape, or maybe the three-legged crow. After thinking about it, for the next map, I don't want to wander around the solar system anymore. Let's look at another world. After thinking about it, Yashi put the interstellar coordinates of the system rewards he had received in front of him, and then decided to roll the dice and let the sky decide where he wanted to go. The points thrown out turned out to be the coordinates of the abyss. Change. Yashi decided to roll the dice again. Dang dang dang. The dice fell. Shengsu. Seeing this result, Yashi couldn't help but rub his eyebrows. He felt that his current ability was not enough to explore. What's going on? The results of 2 consecutive throws are the results I don't want, right? God is specifically targeting me, right? Yashi raised his head and glanced at the sky, and suddenly remembered that the sky seemed to be him, so he put away the curse words he was going to say next. No, I want to change my destiny against the will of heaven. He didn't believe it. He still couldn't get the result he wanted. After the 5th roll of the dice, Yashi finally got the desired result. World of Behemoths. It looks like the 5-color altar is about to be opened. Seeing the result of changing his fate against fate, Yashi nodded with satisfaction. By the way, I seem to have a 5-color altar here. He remembered the 5-color altar he had picked up when he was on Mars, and he had thrown it somewhere casually. Yashi stood up, looked at the big octopus approaching, touched its huge octopus head, and then walked to a lush meadow. There is an intact 5-color altar sitting on it. There are also scattered 5-color stones thrown next to it. He clicked on the 5-color altar to light it up for an experiment, but found that there was no way to open the starry sky ancient road in his own world. It seems that because this world only exists in his memory, it cannot be connected with the rest of the world at all. It seems that we have to use the 5-color altar in the outside world to open the ancient road to the starry sky. Yashi clicked his fingers, paused briefly, and then made his decision. Then go to the bottom of the sea. By the way, where did Beeman and that fish go? When Yashi thought of the seabed and the world of giant beasts, he thought of Behemoth and the fish. Since that time, he has not seen these 2 things again, nor has he seen any relevant news on the news. In the process of thinking. Jingle bell bell. Yashi's cell phone rang. No one had called Yashi for a long time, and Yashi was not used to it when he suddenly heard the ringing tone of the phone. Looking back on his experiences, he found that he seemed to have been out of touch with the urban world for a long time, so much so that when he recalled the images of himself in school, it felt like it was a long time ago. As a result, when I looked at the time, I found that not much time had actually passed, just over a year. Even I have forgotten that I am a college student and still need to go to school. I must go and take a look inside the school next time. After Yeshi silently made a decision in his heart, he answered the call. The person calling this time was very familiar. As expected, it was Laohu and Fatty again. But it wasn't because of any mission that he found Yeshi's head, but because he wanted to ask him out to play. Once again standing in the square of the magic city, Yeshi felt as if he was in another world. He was silently savoring the feeling of being alone when he heard a loud voice shouting. Lao Ye! I haven't seen you for a long time. Fatty, I miss you so much. Before Yeshi could even turn around, he felt a giant creature suddenly rush toward him, and then hugged him. He really had nothing to say about this social terrorist. After pulling him down, the four of them went shopping in the magic city together. Yeshi also knew how well known he was now. He was undoubtedly the most popular person on Blue Star, so he deliberately blurred his face. So he was not discovered when he walked on the street. Old Ye, when I first saw you, I felt that you were outstanding and extraordinary. Now I see that my fat uncle's vision is really unique. Hey, Laohu and I have watched your live broadcast in the sun many times. You don't know that there are many departments there to study you. They want to analyze every strand of your hair into flowers. Yeshi heard the fat man, Xuanhuan, and Laohu talking about the changes on Blue Star and their own things one by one, and he would reply from time to time. Just when a few people were chatting, they kept walking and approached a prosperous and lively commercial street. As soon as he came in, Yeshi saw many shops. The store printed out its own photos and hung them at the main entrance as a talisman. Yeshi! This is too exaggerated, is it necessary? Hasn't the world begun to recover? Everyone should know that as long as you practice slowly, you can reach the corresponding realm and then go to outer space to play. Xuanhuan, who was originally a little quiet, heard this and looked up at Yeshi with a strange look. Are you serious? Old Hu also complained, you think others are not human if you don't treat them as human, right? Now the most powerful person in the world can barely reach half of what you showed in the Jingzhou ancient city. As they talked, several people laughed. After having fun in the city this time, Yeshi said goodbye to the three of them and came to the ocean. He decided to go to the bottom of the sea to see if Behemoth was under it. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yu Pian Hai. Chapter 218. Maybe it's because the world has changed dramatically. Even the water of the entire ocean shone with aura, and even began to breed creatures that had only existed in myths and legends before. Or, those legendary creatures began to wake up as the world woke up. Yeshi felt that the danger of the ocean was deeper than before. He did not choose to use the crystal to teleport himself directly to the bottom of the sea, but wanted to go all the way downstream so that he could take a look at the current sea. The ocean has always been synonymous with mystery. Even if Yeshi entered the ruins of Atlantis on the seabed to explore, he could not say that he knew anything about the ocean. And now starting from the water surface and going downstream. Yeshi originally wanted to see the changes in the water layer, but it didn't take long for him to feel bored. He reached out directly and pulled out Kraken, who was still playing with the sun toy in the void. Although I came to my hometown. But Kraken only had miserable memories of his hometown, so instead of feeling happy, the entire octopus drooped. Yeshi sat on the octopus and let it take him to dive. He happened to enjoy the scenery along the way. He heard the strange sound it made, so he reached out and patted the octopus on the head. Stop barking. By the way, can you look like an octopus? Kraken, the North Sea monster, was a little innocent, but he didn't dare to say anything. The deeper you go into the sea, the more bizarre the world becomes. Yeshi discovered that as the world changed, the most obvious feature of these marine creatures was that they had grown much larger. For example, the 1,000-year-old turtle that just swam past Yeshi. Almost, Yeshi wanted to capture the other party and fill his own ocean bank. In the process of the big octopus diving, Yeshi took photos and uploaded them to his own account. It can be said that he didn't post as many blog posts as he did today. It was also for this reason that many people were misled into thinking that the place Yeshi planned to explore this time was in the ocean. So they all started to place bets on whether Yeshi would be exploring the ocean of Blue Star. Kraken's body is too huge and his momentum is amazing. Despite this, we still encountered the overlord of the ocean. Yeshi was treated to a feast for his eyes, seeing an octopus fighting a shark, and by the way, he recorded the corresponding video and sent it to his account. When did Yeshen transform into a documentary blogger? To be honest, it doesn't quite taste right. Maybe I ate too much of the exciting meal. That's what this thing looks like. Everyone is confused, right? Whether it's this octopus or this shark, if they really want to face each other, they won't kill you 100 times in one bite. By the way, is this the prelude to Yeshen's map exploration this time? Are you going to explore the ocean again? I don't know where to explore. How do I see it? It doesn't look like an alien planet. Maybe it's an alien planet that looks like a blue star. Yeshen, my Yeshen, I can't live without your live broadcast anymore. Start the live broadcast now. I've already kicked my husband. It's the same model upstairs. I've already kicked my wife. Are you disturbing me from watching the live broadcast? Below the video, there are all kinds of messy comments. In addition to foreign words, there are also alien words mixed in. They all have friendly exchanges with each other, and different planets have previously made an agreement to fight offline. These. Yeshi glanced at it and stopped reading. If you want to play fast offline, you can wait until you can cross the planet. Yeshi took all this very lightly. He said that if the offline battle between planets really started, he would definitely conduct a live broadcast and transcription. Falling to the bottom of the sea again. Kraken felt the familiar feeling of that kick. This foot once stood on it for 30,000 years. 30,000 years. But now that all the hardships have come to an end, Kraken felt his master lying on his back, idly scrolling through his phone, and unconsciously straightened his body a little straighter, feeling full of confidence in his heart. Prepare to show off in front of that smelly behemoth. Look, I have a master but you don't. Yeshi naturally felt Behemoth's aura. Besides Beeman, he also felt a familiar feeling, that was that damn fish. After Yeshi felt the other person's breath, his whole body was like a stress reaction. He immediately stood up from lying down and scrolling through his mobile phone. Why hasn't this fish been caught yet? Why have I encountered this fish again? If you call me princess again this time, I will throw it directly into the lava. Yeshi silently made this decision in his heart. Then he looked up at the sky. Speaking of which, I finally understand why Beeman keeps adding magma to this fish that has been soaked in magma for 30,000 years. Indeed, if it were me, I would also want to add magma. After arriving at the bottom of the sea, Yeshi opened his live broadcast room. This time the live broadcast started unexpectedly, and what greeted me was a behemoth squatting on the lava with a big shark under his feet. It was a big shock. Especially some newcomers who were not used to Yeshi's live broadcast, their pupils were shaking and their souls were almost scared away. What is this and why does it make me feel so scary? Oh, it's just a very homely behemoth, and then he went along to demolish his house and was knocked into outer space. No, how come there are still people who don't know such a classic scene, newbie upstairs? It seems like there are many new people coming from other worlds. It's great, finally, someone is suffering with us. Other live broadcast rooms, the anchor is suffering, and the audience is laughing. Yeshen's live broadcast room, the audience is suffering, Yeshen is happy. Nima, this behemoth is incredible. If the octopus escapes, it will step on the shark, right, oh, my poor great white shark. Yeshi also saw the great white shark that was used as a seed. Well, its belly was already cooked. It smells so good. I haven't eaten shark meat yet, so I don't know if it tastes good. The sizzling octopus turned into a sizzling shark. Who is this? Yeshen, you are waiting for the environmental protection organizations and animal protection organizations to condemn you, and give me some. By the way, I have never eaten shark meat. Beeman was originally sleeping on the shark's body. I didn't know where I got a rope from. I hoisted the fish up, hung it on the shark's teeth, and half of its body fell under the magma. At this time, he felt Yeshi's breath and slowly opened his eyes. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan Hai. Chapter 219. This scene is so familiar, it is so similar to the scene when Yeshen came to the bottom of the sea for the first time. It is still the same posture and the same murloc soaking in lava. The scene is like last night. The taste of youth is really unforgettable. Why did this fish man soak in the lava again? Why didn't I know that fish actually like lava so much? Sure enough, it's extraordinary. Laughing to death, maybe this is a strong person. Yeshi also looked at the fish man who was hung up and half of his body soaked in magma with strange eyes, that is, the most outstanding wise man in the 10 countries. This situation really made Yeshi want to laugh. He ignored the eyes of the other party asking for help, and just stepped on Kraken's body, causing it to continue to float, and then stood on the same level as Beeman. Immediately afterwards, everyone saw a scene that made people stunned. I saw Behemoth's mouth wide open with a roar, and he stepped hard on the poor great white shark under the magma. At the same time, because of the rumbling sound, countless magma flowed back, and the creatures in the magma abyss on the seafloor fell into Beeman's mouth. I think this is because Behemoth slept for so long, and then because he sensed Yeshi coming, he woke up and had a tooth-beating ceremony. It's just not so friendly to those audiences. Honestly, if I really want to see the bullies of prehistoric ferocious beasts like Yaozu and Behemoth, I would have to have Yeshen not be here, because once they see Yeshen, these ferocious beasts will turn into cute little ones. Sheep. Wolyang Tianzun, who guessed that Yeshen went to another planet before, come up and admit your mistake to me. I am God. This may be because Yeshen wants to visit friends. Golden Mouse, this is not necessarily the case. There are various opinions on the barrage. Yeshi stood on Kraken's back, looked at Behemoth who had restored his prototype, and asked. I wanted to ask you what happened in your old world before, but I never got around to it. Tell me now. As soon as these words came out, not only were some surprised fishmen who were soaking in the magma tried to get out to see what Yeshi wanted to do. The live broadcast room also changed from a quarrel to a scene of wow. Golden Mouse, it seems that Yeshen wants to go to the world of giant beasts. How to get there? Don't get to the place in a blink of an eye. I want to see Yeshen open the Starry Sky Ancient Road and see the Starry Sky Ancient Road. From the moment we started to whet our appetite, we can finally take a look at the Starry Sky Ancient Road. Many people who had been diving suddenly couldn't hold it in any longer and emerged from the deep sea one after another, followed by a wave of anticipation. The live broadcast room is simply more lively than dozens of wet markets combined. There's something wrong with the old world. Behemoth's voice rumbled, like thunder in the sky. Because something went wrong, I was sent back again. What nonsense literature. Listening to your words is like a conversation. Yeshi. So what happened? Beeman shook his head. Have no idea. I'm still young and don't know much about these things. I just heard that the whole world is at war. There is no pure land and people of the same clan are dying every moment. Yeshi was silent for a while. Behemoth is born so quickly, and Behemoth dies every moment. Isn't it said that the Behemoth tribe is characterized by its small number of people but strong individuals? Yeshen was stunned for so long. Just now I thought he was thinking about some major event about the birth and destruction of the world. It turns out that everyone's moral integrity is not very high. Actually, to put it bluntly, I felt the same way when I heard the words of this behemoth. Why do behemoths die every moment? There are so many behemoths. Beeman was obviously a little confused about Yeshi's question, but he quickly responded. Maybe. The two people looked at each other, and the atmosphere suddenly became awkward. Apparently only one person felt this way about this embarrassment, because the behemoth quickly said, "Do you want to open the ancient starry sky road to the world of giant beasts? You'd better not go, you might be beaten to death if you go. The people there are very bad-tempered and you can't beat them." There was a gurgling sound coming out of the magma. It was because something was soaking in the magma and it was eager to come out. Yeshi. Although the silence in the air was broken, Yeshi felt that his embarrassment had not been relieved, but instead became even more embarrassing. It's so funny, this guy's head is really full of muscles, right? Good eyesight, of course, I am talking about reverse eyesight. It's so direct that we, Yeshen, are blocked and have nothing to say. Yeshi paused for a moment. Well, maybe, but I am originally an explorer who pursues excitement. Beeman nodded and looked at Yeshi with very sincere and clear eyes. Does explorer mean a warrior who is willing to risk his life? It seems, this wave of questions really made me, brother choked up. Yeshi was really stunned and a little speechless. Forget it, I won't ask you any more, you don't know anything anyway. But I do want to go to the world of beasts. Do you want to go with me? Beeman quickly backed away. No, thank you for the explorer's kindness, but that world is too dangerous, I won't go there. Yeshi saw Behemoth step back with a strange look in his eyes. Okay. What a loving father and filial son dog head. The mother planet is in danger, the tribe is in danger, please return quickly Behemoth. Then I won't return. After saying that, he looked at the camera and said, I believe everyone can see that I really want to open the ancient starry sky road and go to the world of giant beasts. Originally, this is the next map I decided on. I specially collected information for this, and then came to the bottom of the sea to ask people who know the situation. Although I didn't ask anything. Yeshi said this and glanced at Behemoth. But it's interesting to go on an adventure in a brand new world without knowing anything. Please enjoy the fun of exploration. At the end, Yeshi's tone became high. It seems that the Riddle Man should get out of Gotham City. Where did you collect the information? No, this is a different world. Yours is the Cosmic Library, right? Its connotation, right, its connotation, definitely connotation Behemoth. Yeshi shrugged his shoulders at the barrage. He directly put the words that the system had given him to use into practice. Now it seems that it is indeed very useful. Your Highness. You must not go to the world of giant beasts. It has become a quagmire of war. If your worthless body falls there, the lineage of the sea god will be completely over. I don't know if it was stimulated by Yeshi. The fishman who was originally soaking in the magma jumped out, as agile as before, and was not hurt by the temperature of the magma at all. It is indeed gifted. At this time, it screamed so heartbreakingly. Yeshi turned around easily, and then waved his hand behind him. The lineage of the sea god ended long ago, 30,000 years ago, you should continue to soak in your magma. By the way, a new kingdom of Atlantis has been built on the seabed, you can go and have a look. Yeshi rode the octopus towards the ancient temple. And threw a bomb at the fishman by the way. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 220. came to this ancient temple and that poor god again. Compared to the false sea god Poseidon who died under the great flood and even his weapons and temples were annihilated in the dust of time, the temple in front of him of this ancient god that has not been remembered by anyone is still standing. Comparing the two sides makes people know who is a parallel import and who is the true god. Standing before the temple. Yashi thought of himself at that time. It wasn't that long since he was now, and he hadn't changed much either. Therefore, there was no feeling of nostalgia, and he just pushed open the door of the temple. Pinch, it's still so shiny, woo, my eyes are going to go blind. I was in extreme shock and was shocked for a whole year. I missed the barrage I posted before, and I changed it by the way rightward arrow. I was in extreme shock and was shocked for 100 years. Poor God, after all this time, only Yeshen still offers him incense. You are blind, there is still the incense on the fish and behemoth, but it has been sucked clean, and there is still incense ash on the ground. As soon as Yeshi came in, he saw the incense he had lit before. There are also living idols. When the statue saw Ye, he quietly moved his movements. His whole body was standing on the five-color altar. Now half of the body has moved outside. When everyone blinked, they saw the statue squatting next to the five-color altar. It's like it's natural, it's like it's never moved before. When the statue looks back on the past to its believers in the future, will it say, I remembered that I asked Yeshen to offer incense. I really didn't expect this operation. 6. Idol, people have to bow their heads under the eaves. This seems to be under your roof, right? Yeshi was still planning to chat with this ancient statue. Unexpectedly, in the blink of an eye, the other party seemed to know the purpose of coming here and ran away with the bucket. I'm not a bully, am I that scary? Come out and chat. Originally, I thought Brother Ye was not a bully, but then when I saw Brother Ye asking this idol to chat with him in just one sentence, I thought, then he is indeed a bully. In society, I am Brother Ye, I am ruthless and don't talk much. What to talk about? Almost as soon as Yeshi finished speaking, the statue responded hurriedly as if it was afraid that it would be too late. There's one thing I've always wanted to get answered. Unfortunately, I've been to a lot of places so far, but I haven't seen many living things. Even if we meet, 80% of the time we won't be able to communicate. After much thought, it is yours that has been preserved most completely. As Yeshi slowly moved forward and spoke sentence by sentence, the statue started to tremble for some unknown reason. What the villain boss feels like, vividly alive. Why are you shaking? Are you so scared? The Great Flood wiped out almost everything in Daxi continent, but it didn't kill you. Aren't you supposed to be very powerful? Are you so scared? Yeshi really didn't understand. He casually inserted 3 sticks of incense into the statue, then sat on the 5-color altar. Before opening it, I want to chat with this ancient statue that has survived since ancient times. Why do you have such questions? Do you have any consciousness of being a god? When others are afraid of you, think about other people's reasons for everything. You have an extremely terrifying authority. Don't you feel it yourself? The statue stopped shaking, and just quietly moved some distance outside. The tone of voice also lost the mystery at the beginning, and started shouting. The 5-color altar is right there. You can open it at any time if you want. As for any questions, you can ask directly. The fragrant mist curled up from the burning incense, blurring the face of the statue. But you can feel that the expression of the statue has become vivid. Yeshi sat on the 5-color altar with his legs bent, and knocked on the stone below. Okay, the first thing I want to ask. Does each 5-color altar have a dedicated guardian? Wow, this is the question I thought Yeshen would ask about the prison in Sun Star. By the way, this question, if you think about it carefully, it seems to make sense. Aaleguo, so that's it, no wonder those people suffered such serious losses. The statue's voice was buzzing, but it answered quickly, yes. The 5-color altar that can open the ancient starry sky road must be guarded by someone. This is a rule that has been passed down from ancient times, and the ancient starry sky road cannot be opened at will. Yeshi nodded. Good. Next question. Have you ever seen heaven? I just knew that in the face of such an ancient existence, how could Brother Ye not ask about heavenly court? So curious. Say it quickly. Pang Wei, will it know about heaven? No one in Baidu knows about this matter, and I don't know why the information on our side is very different from the information on your side. It's like two completely different universes. Ji Wei Starfield's I Taoist, I have searched for many seniors who can cross the stars, but no one has heard of this world, and the heaven you talk about is like nonsense. The statue was silent for a while. I've heard of it, but never seen it. I just had some interactions with the Taoist priests from the East. They once talked about heaven, but they didn't go into details. What do you want to know? I am just a lowly god with too little authority. I may not be able to give you the information you want to know. It seemed that he was afraid that Yeshi would get angry. So the idol was vaccinated when he spoke. Authority has a low status. Are there high or low among gods, and is it based on authority? Then what kind of authority does Brother Ye have? Ha ha ha, seeing that the other party looks so scared, it can't be the authority of the Creator, right? Bai Vuchain, brother, you are really sharp-eyed. I am God. Yeshi paused. Taoist priests from the East. I do know that there was a connection with Atlantis in Atlantis. I found something traded with the East in their destroyed palace. Was that time? Statue of God, maybe. The East is too mysterious and I don't understand it. Although I know about heaven, it is a pilgrimage place for a group of people who want to become immortals. As a god, I will not peep. Xian's system is completely different from ours. The statue seemed to want to say something, but he hesitated and continued. The people in heaven are hunting God. It's best not to look too much for traces of heaven.